First thing we're going to do is install the blue wire. I use the blue wire as the laser trigger. So I use it to trigger both the diode, laser right here, and when we install the CO2 power supply in that corner, that's also going to get the same exact signal. So here's a roll of blue wire. Lucky for us, we already, in a previous video, installed blue wire into this drag chain. So we only need to install an extra one for the CO2 power supply. So out of our drag chain, you should have a bit extra. I had quite a bit extra, right? Which is fine. And I already cut this down to size. So this wire should run along the frame right here. Okay. Come down behind it and then curl up in. Like, it shouldn't bend hard. It should have a nice open curl that goes into the screw terminal here. And we can look at our map here. So that's variable spindle PWM, which is on 11. And 11 is down here on this thing. It's this guy. So I'm also going to open that up to take on wires. Okay. So now I'm going to pretend that there's a CO2 power supply also over here. Now we don't know how we're going to orient it yet, right? We don't know if it's going to be sideways or whatever. So this will wind up going anywhere in the power supply. So I'm just going to leave the roll here and pretend like I'm going up the side here. Okay. Run along this frame piece. I'll be going above the stepper drivers here, underneath this frame piece, and then it'll go along this frame and come down and curl up. So that's about right. Cool. I'll measure that one more time before I cut it. So what we're going to do here is take these two blue wires. These screw terminals don't fit more than one wire very well, so we got to keep this nice and tight here. So I'm gonna actually strip extra wire, like more than I need, and I'll show you why in just a second. Okay, I'm also not going to twist these individually. I'm going to leave them straight. That way it creates a smaller spiral here, a tighter spiral. So I've got these two. Like, if you pulled the sleeve off, that's fine also. I left mine on. But yeah, just nice tight spiral. Try to keep that cable as small as possible there. But of course the head always poofs out. But that's not a big deal. That's why we did extra here. So we got that big bulbous head here. And so I'm just going to cut it off. There we go. And now I've got the short little head. Cool. Okay, with this open, I'm going to aim it pretty well. And then get it in that little levered hole. It can be a little tough to get it in there because it's such a tight fit. I'm going to use this screwdriver to help get it in. There we go. That's grabbing it. Perfect. Oh. It was grabbing it, but it was the wrong hole. Let's get it in the right pin. It should say down there. There it is, D11, yeah. There we go. Okay, yeah, so the sleeve is pushed all the way up to the terminal. There's no wires sticking out or fraying. It's very important that we don't have loose wires just hanging out. And then I'm going to tighten this up. Okay. And then give it a little tug test. And even as I tug it, I don't see wire. Cool. Okay, and now, again, I'm going to pretend, okay, it's got a nice little curve right here, right? Coming up, going over here. Grabbing my clippers here. Run this cable down here. And now it's going to come down. And I'm just going to give it like a foot of extra cable to make sure that there's enough. And then I'll chop it down later once we actually install the CO2 supply. And that's the blue wire. Thanks for watching.